All right, what's going on, guys? It's Tuesday, January 31st, last day of the month. We are already 1/12 of the way done with 2023. We're kind of ripping right now, making new highs. Let's go ahead and get the charts up and let's just dive right in. Let's just get going. Let's do it. All right, so here we are. Markets making new highs at the moment. I was wanting to take advantage of that, but we were getting the stream set up. I just kind of like logged in and saw it ripping. I was like, oh man, like wow, look at this. Got a really strong bounce off the volume weighted average price here about 20 minutes ago, and it's just been running since. We're running up here at the new highs at 40.55 zone, which was kind of a area of resistance here the other day. Wow, we dropped all the way down to 4,000. Just look at that. We've got over the last 24 hours, we've got 40.86 being the high. That's a lot. I'm really shocked. So on this 3-minute, we've been kind of ripping up at all red dots. It's kind of weird. Let's start by taking just some feeler trades and just kind of getting in the groove here first. 9's above 12, 26 above 35, and we're definitely on a 5200 rip here. A lot of divergence on that. As far as CTM goes, a little bit of cooling off here, but not much. Oops, I did join the bid. I actually meant to short this. Just that moment, but I think it worked out. I was looking at this based off the price movement, like the buy movement there. What's up, Tiny? Good morning. Yes, thank you to all the new subs. We hit 280 today, and then I think we lost one or something. We kind of like gaining 2, losing 1. Gaining 3 or 4 sometimes, and then losing 1 or 2. All right. This is going to be a fun day. So there's definitely some cooling off in the TTM, but you see we kind of got the same sort of setup here. And then we got that big bounce. And so I think that this might be the way that this is going to go today. Just based off of the movement and what I see so far. We do have a lot of down wicks on this one. Kind of like how this one got this like big down wick. So we may get some small consolidation here with another pop, I think. We may go up and test these highs. I don't think we're falling down anytime soon, though. The TOS is working better today than it was yesterday. Yesterday was working really poorly. I tried to get that entry, but just didn't enter for me. Jumping on the eval side, and we're on the 100K account at the moment. Where are we at here? 3.7 or 3.7. Just gonna see about an entry off of 53. Seemed like a nice one. We got in on the eval, or I mean not the eval, but the sim side at 53 and a quarter. A little pullback here. We're up 300 on the sim. I feel a little like I feel like I just need to like stretch out and move a little bit before I get too much into the trading. So I'm just gonna stretch out a little bit. Whew. I need to get back to the gym like at like 3 a.m. It's kind of like the only time I really like to go. Turn the bid here, jump on the eval side. Seeing if there's a. Well, this entered me really late. It entered me very late. Hopefully it's not doing what it did yesterday where it kept like entering me late on everything that I did. Pulling back to like 53. I'm just gonna hold this trade for the moment. I wonder why these still have the red dots on it. Especially because we're continuing to move up pretty heavily, actually.
Order filled.
So I'm gonna enter out 54 and a quarter. I'm looking to get at 55 in my 100K eval. I didn't realize that the candle was so close to ending. Kind of sucks. I wish that I had paid attention to how close that candle was to to being over with. Let's drop this down a single tick. I may be exiting this trade very shortly. Manage our risk. Hitting our risk level right now and moving past it. Yikes. Okay, we gotta cut it. We dropped all the way down to 52. I'm actually still in this. I was about to cut it, and then it came back up towards our risk level, but now we're dropping again. I'm out.
Order filled.
It's just too much risk for me. That was a loss of $333.96. That puts us down on the day in our 100K account. That's too bad because we had this going really well. We're still up in that account, $428. We do need to get to 2,000 on it. That's too bad. We got it at 54 and a quarter. We cut it down at 51. And I definitely think we could have done a better job in that trade. We're actually still in this trade here on the sim side. I feel a little off in my trading today, and and I think it's because I kind of miss these rips in the morning. And so I think that I just need to. I don't know what I need to do yet. I thought that I could take just a really quick scalp in the eval side, and didn't work out that way. We've come back almost all of everything that I just gave away, which is also always very frustrating. I'm going to switch over to the 1 minute chart here and try and interpret what is going on. It's always kind of weird when it's like choppy like this on the highs. .1 to 3.0 to 2.9. You're getting a little bit of pullback here. Made my goal on TOS to get back to the starting balance of 25 G's after a drop below. I'm also a little over in the trade of 8 paper trial, $25 by a little over 100. That's awesome. For 25 G's, sorry. Gotta keep them growing, yeah. Bean water warm up. So may have some potential shorts available inbound. I might cut this trade. I'm just gonna cut this one, and that puts us down to, well, back to $100 on the day. So we lost 200 on that trade. Very kind of choppy and sideways. I'm gonna wait for a trend to play out. Like, we're just kind of up here at these highs, and it's actually kind of challenging to trade. Because it's not following like a really great trend. I do see this flag here, and I do think this is going to break out towards the upside eventually. But there is a lot of divergence from the 26 to the 35. So this may result in a downward like retracement. I think I'm going to go a little slower today. I wish I could take advantage of all these little pops. But the truth is it's really kind of challenging for me to interpret these candles when they're just like dropping down and just kind of chopping sideways. So that can be a little challenging. It's challenging for me for sure. We did just get a green dot pop in on the TTM5. Like when I look at this, I'm like, yo, like this seems like I should just be like in a position holding long, waiting for this to like go to 40, 60 or something. Maybe that's not a bad maneuver in and of itself. Kind of up here at 40, 54, 75. So I guess I could have held through that entire pullback on the eval side and then gotten this trade. But, you never know. Especially because I entered on this candle here. Join the bid. The same entry we were on the eval side, 54 and a quarter. I think that we are gonna see a continued push up to toward the upside. I think that we are gonna see new highs here. That's just what I think is gonna happen. Trying to enter at 55 on my eval side, my 100K eval, and kind of blew past my entry. There's 14 seconds left in this candle. Four, three, two, one. We've gotten a lot of buyer momentum these last 3 or 4 candles since this one here, even with this red candle. We did make a new high there at 56 and at 55.50. Looking for this to pop up through 56. Hands over the cover button. Just keep tapping these highs. Come on, I'm just waiting for this. Come on, go, go, go. With Doji at the top there. I'm going to try to get out of 56 then. Oh, wow. Don't be a butt.
Order filled.
Took a single tick on that. And this did pop up through 56 slightly. But we made a tiny little bit of that back. What's that volume like? Because volume is kind of low actually on the day. I'm gonna cut this trade. Made 300 on that, so we're up 400 in the sim. We're down 317.92 in the 100K. Y'all know I don't love trading near the highs. It's not my favorite. Even though sometimes it just rips up. Like this, that actually popped up through what our trade idea was on this last candle here. So we got in at 55.50 and we were trying to get out at 56.75. But it's really kind of like, it gets kind of frustrating when it comes up. It makes these highs and just struggles. It's moving up like a quarter at a time. When it's just that very slow grind up, that can be really challenging. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Hey, man, I was sorry to hear about that shooting that happened in Lakeland, man. I'm sorry to hear about that. But I'm glad to see that you're all right. To be honest, Kevin, I don't know enough about Lakeland, so I don't know if it's a small town or a big town. But I'm just grateful to see that you're good, that you're all right. Tiny, to be honest, I actually have not been getting into my software much recently. I've basically been trading and then getting off the computer for the day. So pretty much like once I type up the the results on the day, I've been kind of getting off my computer and doing a lot of offline work, which is in its own self somewhat frustrating because there is a lot of stuff that I need to handle on the computer. I need to learn Ninja Trader and a bunch of other things that I have to be focused on learning. Um, I have learned that just like the endless learning process makes learning a lot easier. But so no, I haven't checked it yet. But oh no. This is the rip that I was actually looking for. It's just this is really difficult to predict because like how long this takes to happen. Like sometimes it's like 20-30 minutes. I'm just like, man, like just make it happen already, guys. So this is the trade that I was looking for originally in the eval side. The one that we ended up losing the $300+ on. I was looking for that move that just took place right there. And we just kind of entered this near, not near the top. We entered it here off 58, and the top is up at 50, almost 60. And if you remember about 5 minutes ago, I said that this has room to about 40-60. We ended at 59.75, 59.5, 59.5. But now we're pulling all the way back down to 55. And this is the exact kind of days that I don't like to trade. It's funny because you look at it and you pull back on the chart and you're like, oh, well, it's just ripping on the day, you know. But if you get intra with the candles, you get like up close, you know, you see that there's all these like rips and drops that are super like almost unpredictable in the sense that this one's dropping a lot, so I got to cut it and get to an L on the day. It won't let me out of the trade. It's just bouncing around. Hasn't found a price yet that it wants to fill me at. Look at this. Look how long that market order is taking. Wow. So much for a market order. Like, I really want to just see an obvious trend, like fall down or go up. But the choppiness of it all is that's the part I can get chopped up. And today I can tell the choppiness is here. So this is the day I can get chopped up pretty easily. So I'm gonna wait for a trend to form. I want to see a downward trend, honestly. We do have some potential for some short moves here. We've got a 9. We've got a 1226 potential inbound from up here. This I'm going to like 4 ticks. We've seen dollar moves pretty much consistently, so I think I can rely on a dollar movement in a certain direction. TTM looking like 2.5 to 1.7 to 0.8. Getting a lot of downward momentum now. Is short at 52, which is right at the EMA 35, so it's probably not a great place to be short at. So we may get a 1226 crossover to the downside and potential TTM to red. The EMA 35 is a really strong bounce zone though, so I'm trying to see if this goes down to 51. The 50 is at 50 and at 0.5, so cut that trade for another loss. We're down 1,000 on the day. I'm going to be very cautious on the evaluation the rest of the day. Probably not going to really take many trades in it. unless I get a very obvious trend. I'm going to focus on the sim. A lot of buyers stepping in off that 35 bounce. This is usually a really strong move, and I just didn't take it because of the strength leading into it. And every time I've done that, it's gone against me, and so I just need to just trust that the EMA 35 will bounce, because it bounces the vast majority of the time. So I just need to trust that it's going to bounce off the 35. And I recognize that even though I know it's a move, even though I know it's its own strategy, I recognize that I don't always trust it. And a lot of times I don't trust it because the momentum at which it dropped into actually hitting 35, and a lot of times it'll wick below it before ending on it. And that's pretty common. 9 is now dipping below 12 for a brief moment on this candle. That doesn't mean that that's how we're going to end, but it's just on this candle right now currently. Kind of bouncing back and forth between it. This candle still has 40 seconds, so we're going to wait on this. We may potentially get some fall down at the top of the hour, but I don't know about that. We did have a lot of financial reports come out today. Today, Tuesday, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 financial reports drop. We had the employment cost index, which was forecasted at 1.1% and it ended up being at 1%. We had the Case-Shiller home price index, which did not have a forecast, but it is down 3.1%, and the previous was down 2.8%. The FHFA home price index is down 1.6% for November's numbers. The Chicago Business Barometer ended at 44.3 from a forecast of 45.3. Again, I don't know if this one's good or not. It's good or bad. So I have to look at that, whether or not it says down or up. Consumer Confidence Index down to 107 from projected of 109. So it was a very a slight down. U.S. home prices fall more for the 5th straight month in November. Good. I'd honestly love to see the housing market crash again. I'd like it to be about as bad as 2008, although I feel very bad for anybody who gets caught in that. But from a purely economical standpoint, I'd like it to be about that bad, because I think it provides people a lot of opportunity to be able to purchase homes. I think we just need to make sure that, people are purchasing homes, not just investment firms. But that goes back to speaks a lot to my ideologies. So, getting another bounce off the EMA 35, 0.25 to 0.5. A lot of resistance here at 40.55, and keep getting bounces off of this. That's just ripping right back up. Look at this pop, man. All right, we're getting a cyan switch now. Here, that was 7,000 contracts traded. So we keep getting these and this is really common, where you'll get these a lot of candles that are like 1,500 to like 3,000, and then you'll get these one really huge candles that rip up like this, or like this, and they'll have like 7,000 contracts traded. These ones actually double topped here, like to almost the exact same price. This one was slightly higher. Join the bid, super high. Probably not the smartest move, but who knows? We're coming up testing 60. 59.75 is the high of this area. I may look to take a pullback to like 57.5 or so. If we pull back that far. You know, this can do seconds charts as well. I wonder if it'd be valuable for me to put up like a seconds chart. I consider taking this trade too. And $100 back in the sim, not the eval. Ripping through highs again, past 40.60. Today's one of those days where you honestly just wish you bought at 52 and just held it up to 60. Short off of 59. Just wanted to see if this would drop down the way it did before, but you know, I don't really think it was a very good idea. I say that because we're getting a fresh TTM, but the last time it ripped up like this, that was why I did it. I don't know that the trading force is with me today. We're back down $1,000 on the day. I don't know that I got the trade force today. You know what's actually funny is that a lot of times I understand macroeconomics more than I understand microeconomics. Um, because I think like just because I kind of understand to a very large extent that like money is just fake. Like it's just like a fake thing. That for the vast majority of countries is not backed by anything. Like it's just a random like government being like, hey, we promise that this has value. And so like understanding that like really helps me to understand that on a macroeconomic scale, um, money is simply moved around. So it doesn't like when you see these articles, it's like Elon Musk lost $5 billion today. I'm like, not really. He didn't actually lose $5 billion. The share price of a particular stock, probably Tesla or something like that, dropped a certain amount, and now on paper he's worth less. But that doesn't mean anything because next week he'll be worth more. It just doesn't. It's kind of irrelevant. And so when I look at the macroeconomic things, I'm like, okay, things like essentially macroeconomics from what I've seen for the vast majority of it, outside of political plays, um, a lot of the times it's just a shortening of supply and demand. So they might like supply might get short here, so prices go up, and demand might get like really big, and so prices will go up. Or supply gets really big, and then because of that, demand goes down, so prices go down. Like it's kind of prior to 2008, there was like the price per barrel of oil was like $20 a barrel. And they're like, there's no way it'll never get, expensive again. And then after 2008 happened, um they there was some article that came out that was saying that that China would be importing billions of barrels of oil every year. So like something like that, China would be using like 80 million barrels of oil a day, and then the price of oil went from $20 up to $138 a barrel. And so it's kind of like a lot of macroeconomics is speculation. Maybe that's kind of falls into like micro, but macro a lot of times I see um is when kind of the dust settles. But that's just my thoughts on and kind of how I see it. And see, like we lost our house when I was a kid, we lost our house. And and we lost it really through my parents' divorce. But when we did, like my mom to this day is just like, man, I was like barely behind. And honestly, she's like, I was just intimidated and got scared out, and I was just dumb and naive at that time. She's like, frankly, in this day and age, like, there's no way I would have ever given it up without a fight. But you don't know what you don't know at the time that things happen. We make mistakes and then we learn from them. We are not the sum total of our actions, but but we make our decisions and then our decisions make us, as the saying goes. And so I think that ultimate accountability with forgiveness of self matters to such an extreme extent that in order for us to really grow as people, we need to accept our mistakes. We need to and I'm not saying that you don't, just for the record. But we need to accept our mistakes and abide by our decisions, and just take that accountability. And when we do, all of a sudden we're no longer a victim. And victim mindset is the main reason why I see a lot of people fail at anything that they ever wanted, is because they're too focused on being a victim to be a victor. Um, Micro and macro, but they're very confusing. Yeah. Um, very well said. Thank you. Yeah, like I'd rather. I think that's one of the reasons why I love entrepreneurship. Is because like I I like I'm responsible for my failures. Like I can tell you that like I stopped working for people back in 2012. Was I think when like that was when I said I was never gonna have another job again. And it was just like it's so, and no offense to anybody who has a job or works a job, but it became so demeaning and so frustrating to me to wait for somebody else to see my potential to provide me an opportunity to succeed. And that kind of living made me feel like I was enslaved to trying to schmooze people and trying to like get more or less managers to like me. So that what? So that they could let me work harder? So that they could let me work, give me an opportunity to get a raise or promotion. And I've never cared about recognition. It just wasn't, at least not recognition for people I could would would not want to spend my time with or have deep, amazing conversations with. Because I'm really just not interested in having a conversation that I'm not amazed with. Like if I'm not amazed with those conversations, and let's face it, I know everybody has worked with somebody that they're just kind of like, I would never be around you if we didn't work here together. I know everybody has worked with somebody like that. Um, and that was just what I felt at a lot of jobs, and that can become very disheartening for me. So that goes into another reason why I love entrepreneurship, is that I can control um, who I let be around me. Like this optimistic futures thing, I love this because I love us. I love the people that we have in our group. I love the people around us. Um, I love who's showing up. I love the culture that we're building here. Um, that stuff matters tremendously to me. True, that's absolutely tremendous. I love the way Trump says that. It's hilarious to me. But I just, I really appreciate that culture, and I think that something that I never got at any of the jobs that I worked in the private sector was I couldn't choose who I wanted to be around me, and that would often like lead me to being around people who were absolutely terrible people until the boss walked around. Then all of a sudden they were like the best person ever. But then the boss would walk away and they'd just be like, I'm a piece of crap. And it's like, wow, you shift and change so fast. And like, I don't know. It's difficult to be around inauthenticity for me. BS stinks. 9 is below 12 and crossing below 26. This does look good for a short. I've been burned today several times, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see if we can go short off the 50 EMA for a drop down. This could just bounce off the 50 EMA like it bounced off the 35. And typically it'll bounce off the 35, then do a move, then fall down again, then bounce off the 50, then do a move. And that looks like what's going to happen. So that was my job rant. Wow, that was a big bounce. I'm out. Gave back our gains from yesterday in both our 100K and our sim. Gratefully, I haven't touched a 50K today. I'll leave it alone for now until I find my rhythm. Gonna be, feels like it might be a little bit till I find my rhythm today. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the other thing too is that like when when you are your own boss, you don't have to play politics with yourself. Like, like, and I know that everybody who's had a job has been in this scenario where you're like, oh, well, I actually need to like, go handle things for my family, and they're like, no, come out and have drinks with us, or something like that. And it's like if you say no, then you're closing like the window of opportunity in order to gain promotions, or gain favor, if you will, that allows you to get to a point to where if a promotion opens up, you are considered for it. And that was a big, if you would call it, a failing in my jobs. Is that like I would go to my jobs, I would work my butt off, and then I would do my very best while I was at those jobs, and I would work to the point to where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, like I did a really good job while I'm here. Now that I'm done, I want to go home to my family, and I want to, be with my kids, and or be with my son, and be with my wife, and have a nice dinner, and just go to sleep or watch a movie with them. Like that. That to me, like that's like why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it to make friends and hang out. Like if that was the case, I would go to I don't know, I would find something that wasn't my job. I would find a shared interest and then go from there. But there was always all this like pressure to like go out to drinks or go out to, something and do something with the people on the crew. And a lot of the times it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Unless it was like a work sponsored event. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going home. And then, when it comes time for promos and stuff like that or promotions, the people who would go out were the people who would get the promotions and all those things. And I'm like, what, what's wrong with me? Like I literally, I'm putting in better numbers than these people and doing, working more hours, etc. But I wasn't playing that game, like playing the game of like, finding the favoritism and all that. I wasn't really playing that game, and I didn't want to, like it, because I was really, you know, focused on my family, and so, in 2012, I really I made that decision. I'm like, I'm never going back to a job, because I can't, um, like my family is the most important thing to me in the world, and because that's the case, I need to be able to be like, okay, well, I don't, I can't work today. I've got to be there for them for whatever the reason is. And so, so just, I just didn't want to have to explain myself for the rest of my life. 1.4 to 1.9 to 2.4 on the TTM to the downside. This looks like it's going to fall down. All the crossovers are going towards bearish. The GTM's going towards bearish. The only thing that left is this 50 EMA as support. It's last line of defense, if you will. If this breaks, we'll probably break to the downside. I'm in short right at the 50. I was trying to get it actually off that 35 though, to short back down to the 50, but it's not how it worked. So I went from 1.9 to 2.4. That was where I was trying to enter. Short was off 55 to get out at 54. Instead, we got in at 54 and a quarter to get out at 53 and a quarter. So that's not good. And that's exactly why. Cutting this one. It looks like I just need to go long only today. But this like super chop is just challenging, honestly, to trade. It's all good though. I feel confident that we'll find our rhythm today. Even though we're almost an hour in and we haven't found it. That's why I'm sticking to the sim at the moment. Bing, bing. We got a red yellow move here. From 2.3, it's really like from 2.3 to 2.3 though. We have a possible crossover as well. Big dump down. Wow. There's a lot of price movement, considering that we're only getting like 1,700 contracts traded. Let me just put this like slightly, like for a potential slight green. All right, we got out of the trade with a micro profit. We're going from 2.3 to 2.3 to 2.2. This is a red yellow, but it's red yellow with almost no momentum. And there's far more divergence happening on the 1226. Again, this is looking better for short. Even though we're getting these TCMs and even though we're getting these bounces, there's still, like I said, this 50 is the last line of defense on this upward trend. If it drops below this 50 and continues below it, then we've got room down to this 200 simple moving average, which is right down here at 40.36. By the way, if y'all chilling, y'all hanging out, make sure you like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. We're growing slowly but surely. We grow this channel by about 1% per day, and I want to thank that 1% for joining in, because it really does help this community grow. Just got a rip of about 12 ticks to this side, to the upside, and this move is looking stronger now. 9 is above the 12. I'm gonna look for an entry off of like 56.5. Kind of missed that entry point there. Jumping to the eval side and joining the bid right here. Missed that. Come on, man. I was like right on that. Should have filled. Well, that was the move that I wanted. It didn't fill. And now I feel hesitant to take it. So I'm not gonna chase that. We did make back like 200 on that one. From 2.3 to 1.7 to 1.17 to 0.8 on the TTM. 9 has crossed above the 12. So entering again, we're in a 56 3/4. We're looking to get out at 57 3/4, which we just did. Maybe back another 200 on that. This is looking like a good potential breakout here. 9 is back above the 12. And we've got the TTM stacking up. High of the day is at 40.61. So choppy. We've got our Discord community going wild. By the way, guys, if you guys are not in our Discord community, make sure you join in. It's joelstraight.com/Discord, but there's also a link in the description as well. And so we'd love to see you guys there. I'm just going to step aside for just a second. All right, we back. A lot of volatility right here. Pulling back again to the 50. So that is 3 pops off the 50. 1 here, one here, and now we're getting a third at the moment. TTM looking like 1.17 to 0.8 to 0.5 to now 0.4. Not enough momentum for me to consider this to be a reversal back towards the upside. There was a little nice move in there. It was a bit miffed that I didn't get that trade on the eval side just because it seemed kind of perfect and it just didn't fill me. Bouncing again after a 3-minute pullback. Let me take an entry here off of see if I can get it at 57. I think it'll drop down a little bit, but I don't think we need to worry about that. I still think it'll pop back up to 58.
Order filled.
Join the bid of 56.5 in the 100K eval side. I'm looking for a move up to 57.5 or 57.75 actually. I'm looking for 5 ticks on this. I'm going to drop this down to hit it at 57 and just try and take 2 ticks out of this. Tap my sell order but didn't fill.
Order
There
filled.
we go. Got my sell order. 57.75 was my initial exit point, intended exit point. So we made a little bit of money back. We're still down 276.88 in today's eval on the 100K. We're up 485.94 in that account. So we're about 25% to earning that funding. Nice pop happening here. Got that trade. Now we're down 1150 in the sim. But we are getting a little bit of our whatever you want to call it, our flow state. Getting a little bit closer to that. Taking our time today. Today is a very choppy day, and on choppy days like this, it can be really hard to interpret trends, or you may get these like big drops and then big rips back up. This really comes down to a lack of liquidity and a lack of volume. So we're, that's why we see like candles that are like 1,700 to like 2,000 volume. Then we'll get one candle. It's like 8,000 contracts or something like that all at once, and then we sell back off. Coming up now to test 4060. The highs at about 4061. Obviously, the high of the day is at 4086. But that's like the high of the last like 24 hours. Let's take a look at this 3-minute chart here. 3-minute has kind of a U-shaped pattern for me. Maybe actually end up being an ABCD. As far as the 3-minute chart goes, in order for us to really see a pullback to this, I want to see the 3-minute TTM switch over to red. Then we'd actually get a really strong pullback in the market. Back at 40.58s. Mm, 3 minutes going from 4.5 to 3.5 to 3.0 to 2.5. So we're moving down about a half a point per candle, half a point of momentum on the TTM per candle. And so we may, by around like 9 o'clock, potentially get a shift towards the downside. I don't know that shift will continue. I don't think we're going all the way back down to 4,000 like we did here. It's just crazy considering this was at 4,086, like not very long before that. There it is. This was at 4 p.m. yesterday, and by 4 a.m., so 12 hours later, it had lost $86 or so, which is crazy. Mm, mm, We're still on a continued upward trend, which may continue for a while, especially when we're getting articles like this, like, strong January finish and stuff like that. All that stuff goes to like driving more buyers in the market. Remember that a lot of the market is marketing, and it's really important to remember um, because a lot of what can get traders trapped and a lot of what causes squeezes and things like that has a lot to do with marketing, not necessarily just fundamentals in the market and not just micro movements or any of those things. If you look at a good example of that would be like the GameStop thing or AMC. There's a lot of marketing behind that that led to a lot of buyers jumping into that. If you look at the Reddit threads, Wall Street Bets, all those guys, there was a lot of marketing that was happening that was compelling people to want to buy. And never underestimate the value and the power of marketing and messaging. Coming up to 4060s on the day, which is right around our high of 4061. Kind of a weird day for me. I want to short here soon, so I'm gonna draw some lines for short trade. See how I do. Just also checking back in on some of the comments. Hated being able to just clock out. Hated not being able to just clock out, get my work done. Yeah, it's same. Yeah, that was my issue. Always had to get permission to. Was told no unless they needed to cut labor. Yeah. Also dealt with that a lot too. Like that was another thing. Like if there just wasn't enough hours to go around, that was always like really challenging. And in your own business, there's always enough work. There's never like a shortage of it. I'd rather have endless amounts of work that I could probably never get through, um, and be my own boss than have a job where I'm like scheduled for 8 hours. I'm done with all my work in two, and then I'm just standing around for 6 hours. And that's also why I don't really believe in paying by the hour. I believe in being paid through production. It's kind of uh, like if you made one of the most compelling logos ever, and you wanted to charge me $50,000 for it, and I was like, "Well, you did it in 5 minutes," and then your response is, "Well, okay, then if I took you 5 months in order to produce the same product, would it be worth $50,000 at that point because it took 5 months instead of 5 minutes, even though I delivered the identical product?" No, of course not. It's worth what it's worth. In fact, I think it's worth more because it was done faster. So it saved me time, which is actually the most valuable resource because it's non-renewable. So mm, word. They failed to realize that I already knew where the labor percentages were. Honestly, uh, yeah, exactly. That was a lot of it. A lot of times they were power tripping, and that was just like not something I just wanted to deal with. 'Cause it's just like, why? Like you're literally just a person at a job. Like, what power do you really have? Like, I don't mean to be rude. It's not my intention, but like you're middle management at a small company, or even if at a big company, it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, what power do you really have? Like, you're not changing policies. Like, you're not like, creating impact on earth, like a impact in major communities or anything like that. Like, so if you're really just like a dude that has like, or a person, not a dude but a person, um that just has a couple of people under them, or even a lot of people under them, like, what power do you really have? What can you do to me that's not new to me? Nothing. You just can't. I gotta survive worse. So I'm in at the high at 4061. In long. Look for a move to 62. My nose is like super itchy today. It happens a lot. It's kind of annoying. Well, I mean, it's extremely annoying, but I'm getting another one of these pops. All day rippers are actually like one of my least favorite things to trade. .3 to 2.6 on TTM. Yeah, all day ripping is like actually one of my least favorite things to trade. One of my favorite things to trade is more like waveforms, or things that are just like really just momentum. I'm gonna cut this one. Lost at 350 there. Back down 1500 on the day. We're still better off than we were earlier, though. We got a ways to go on this. I think our I forgot what our P&L was yesterday. Yesterday was a slow day. It was kind of minimal in terms of trades. One second, I'm just gonna open my door, let some of the heat out. All right, so we're falling back down towards 35 yet again. We'll see if we can finally get a trend reversal at some point. The 200 has been slowly creeping its way up towards the top, so we do have a trend reversal inbound. That looks like an hour away, though, like 9:30. A lot of dojis here. I mean, look at these 3 dojis. I don't know. The volume's not with us. The momentum's not with us. And I'm a momentum trader. First and foremost, the choppy days, the choppy scalps and stuff like that, it's really not my jam. I'm going to put this at 2 ticks and just try and take like very minimal trades. .3 to 1.8 to 1.6. Looking for an entry off of 58.50. I don't think it's gonna happen because we're pushing up to 59. Maybe it will. Yeah, this is popping past us. Taking an entry off 59 for an exit at 59.50. Taking $100 back. Just gonna go for 2 ticks. Just try and take little micro trades. Same with this. I'm gonna swap this out to 2. And just focus on taking 2 ticks at a time. We did make back about $50 of what we lost, so that's good. Obviously, still an L on that day, but it is what it is. Ding, 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 ding. 2.3 to 1.87 to 1.7 to 1.3 or so. Short right here. For 2 ticks down. Unfortunately, we went in the opposite direction. This is resistance now at 40.60. Cutting that. Now there's our top loss of the day so far. Like switching towards like higher frequencies, lower profit scalps. Just trying to really work with the choppiness as much as I can. This is a market that, like, when the market's like this, I have very little edge a lot of the time. Yeah, I gotta cut that again, man. I may just have to just walk away and just say, you know what, like, them's the breaks today. It's too choppy. I may just have to walk away on the day like that. Highest profit? No, my highest loss of the day. I'm currently at my highest loss of the day. My highest profit of the day was like of today, I think was 400 or 500. It was somewhere in that range. But with the choppiness on the day, it's just not in my style of trading. It's not in my edge. So when it's like this, I'm typically kind of like holding back some. But what's up, DG? I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat before. It's welcome. Appreciate you. But when there's these like all day rippers, but there's all this like choppiness and lower volume, like that's actually one of the things that's hardest for me to trade. I don't really care what the price is of the ES, and I don't really care about if it's going up or if it's going down. But what I do care about is momentum in the direction that in either direction. Whether it's dropping or whether it's going up, what I really care most about is trying to learn day trading. Well, you came to the right place. We've been doing this for a while. So welcome to the community. We do have a Discord community, DG, if you want. It's free to join. But we have a lot of great traders there and a lot of people with a lot of insight. So you're welcome to join that. Ask any questions that you want. We talk a lot about trading. We also talk about entrepreneurship and philosophy as well. So it's kind of a wide variety of things. Plus, music. A lot of people are very much into music there. So you're more than welcome to join in. My highest profit day that I've ever had was like a $10,000 day. in the evaluation. Or sorry, excuse me, in the sim on one of the Ripper days. Today is just a very choppy day. It does look like we're getting a drop below the 50 EMA, which is nice. Um, in in all hopefulness, if we're lucky, we'll actually get an actual drop. But every time we go down to the 50, we get a bounce. So um, I'd really just like to see an obvious momentum, but really we've just been sideways for the last hour. And so we may have to wait to the top of the hour in order to actually see a momentum move toward the downside. I think that we're going to need to see it toward the downside because we've basically come up, we've hit the upper band of the VWAP 3 different times. You can see here, here, and here. We rejected every single time, but every time that it comes down, we get a bounce either off the 12 or the 35. The 35 being one of the most respected so far. You can see we bounced here off 35, we bounced here off 35, and the 50 here. The 50 has also been respected several times. So if it does bounce here, this would be the 4th time that it respects the 50. But every time that it comes up and respects that 50, it's getting pushed back down off of 4 to 60. So 40, 60 being a pretty heavy resistance zone. Right now, all the moving averages are in bearish, but along with the GTM. But again, just like earlier, we've got this 50 EMA that is acting as that last line of defense on the bullish move of the day. So if we can break below this 50 EMA and stay below it, and not just break below it and then rip right back above it, then we may actually get a real trend reversal. I'm looking for that. This candle opened below 50, so that shows some promise. 0.6 to 0.9 to 1.4 on the TTM. So we're getting some move about a half a point to the downside. Gonna zoom in here. We may actually get a real trend reversal. That'd be so awesome because we would get real momentum. Choppiness is always one of the most challenging things, at least for me, to trade. So when we're trading this market chop, it's really hard for me. Okay, we are getting a pullback down through 55. Okay, so I'm gonna see if we can go short off of 55. We're gonna look for 6 ticks off of 55. We're in a 55 and a quarter, the downside. GTM looking like 1.6 to 2.0 to 1.5 to 2.0. I'm going to take that profit. Trying to anyway. It's just bouncing around my market order. All right, we made 250 back on that one. So our next upward move would be based off of a red-yellow switch on the TTM. I've been trading for about 3 years or so. Well, it depends on, I mean, I don't know. I was trading crypto in 2013, but I've been trading futures since May. But I was trading stocks prior to that for two and a half years or so. I've been trading futures though since like April. Actually, I've been trading futures since March of last year. So I've been trading futures for about 9 months. Futures, I really think this is probably kind of my home online, like my home trading anyway. Just because I can pop in, I can make $1,500 in 20 minutes, and then I can bail out for the day. So there's a lot of value in it to me, as opposed to like trading crypto, where I'm slowly building up an account. Same with stocks. Like stocks had a lot of like regulatory issues with it that make it harder to make profit. Plus, futures are tax advantaged as well over stocks. So I think there's just a lot of value in trading futures um, over trading stocks. So for my own self, showing what looks to be a second attempt at the high from Friday. Not sure if we break it or not, but for me, I want to break as I'm a bear by heart. We're going to, yeah, exactly. The lunch rush is actually really, I think, what we're gonna be mainly focused on for that downward move. So if we continue upward, I won't be taking an entry until we get a red yellow switch. 1.9 to 2.4 to 2.6. There's a red to yellow on that TTM. Watch out for resistance on the 50 EMA. So this went from 2.4 to 2.6 back to 2.4, and we're gonna join the bid here. So if we can get an entry, it's kind of blowing past my entry point. Move my entry to 56.50. So much lag on the day, man. Come on. Okay. So I entered at 56 and a quarter on a long. 2.4 to 2 or 2.6 to 2.4. We're 50-50 on buyer seller. And we're looking for a move at 57 3/4. We gotta watch out for a false break or false momentum. 2.4 to 2.3. I say we gotta watch out for that because he just saw us 2.4 to 2.3. I'm gonna reduce our profit zone. All right, we took 300 back on that. So this did actually go all the way up to our exit zone, 2.4 to 2.1. Tried to get an entry in the eval at 57 and a quarter. Just went past me. Now we're getting a pullback through it. Again, try it again for 57 and a quarter. I'm getting a rip up through. It's just not getting filled. Tried again for an entry off 58.
Order filled.
Got an entry at 58. Popped up to my sell order, didn't fill. Having a hard time with fills today on all sides.
Order filled.
Took a micro profit in the eval on there. Just having a really difficult time getting fills today. It's got to be the choppiness. A lot of just resistance at each level. What is my net worth? Yo, that is a very private question. That's not something I would ever answer on a stream. So yeah. Yeah, just I'm not gonna answer that live. I actually would never answer that question. Um, Regardless, even if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't answer that question because the reality of it is that like net worth is just so liquid. Rough any rough estimate between $1 and $1 trillion. The reason why, like, check it out. Here's the reason. Okay, number one, I'm not trying to make myself a target. I've been online for a decade, and I've I know what people on the internet are capable of. Um, so like I've been a digital entrepreneur for a decade now at this point, and I just I'm not trying to make myself a target. Number one, outside of making myself a target, I also don't want to like the other thing is about net worth is that it's so fluid. Like honestly, like one could have a portfolio that's worth $1 million today, and it's worth $1.5 million tomorrow, and next week it's worth $500,000. It's like it's kind of like those articles that you see, DG, where it's like Elon Musk lost $7 billion today, and it's like it's not real. He lost $7 billion worth of stock value or worth of some sort of asset uh in the marketplace, but he didn't lose it because it's not actually sold. It's just, its value of it changed. And so that's kind of why. Like what is somebody's actual net worth is whatever they have that is in cash right here right now. That's how I view it. And that value of that net worth, that value of that cash is only based off of whatever the value the government says that it is at this particular point in time. And so, like if the government prints, like, look at it this way: if you had $1 million and the government doubles the money supply tomorrow, you now have the equivalent of $500,000. So, it doesn't matter. Like another thing too, like if they send out more stimulus checks or something like that, your net worth is going to go down. Like because the inflation is going to go up every single time. So, there's just a lot of factors involved in that. So I'm just not. I don't. I don't play that particular game. Um, but just not trying to offend you or anything of that capacity. But it's just that's just my jam on it. It's not about the net worth or any of that. It's about the game, man. It's about the journey. And the journey is where I'm putting my focus. Any pullback to 57 and a half, 57 and a quarter or so. Kind of a larger pullback off that resistance zone there at 60. Yet again, I should say 59 and a half because that's really where it's at. This is a pretty good sized rip. Off of a kind of a textbook TTM squeeze, forming kind of a wave pattern. Man, my nose is itchy. I think I got allergies again today. And then dipping below just kind of riding along the EMA 35. We do have TTM in cyan switch form, and a pretty large drop on this one. But this candle, one thing to note, this dropped on low volume. It's at 1,850 contracts. It's pretty low volume on this one to have such a large drop. Dropping down from 59 and a half down to 57. So about 8 ticks or so to the downside off of that. Off of only 1,800 contracts. Pretty low volume. Very sideways day after the rippage. Where's that 200 at? 200 is getting close. Like I said, my estimation was about 9:30, about half an hour from now. You're gonna get dip below the 50 EMA. We got another ton of bounces on the 50 today. 0.0 to 0.2. So itchy, my nose. Getting a doji at the bottom here. May look decent for a little scalp off that doji. Oh, but we did just get a blue on the TT. Showing the bid off 56. We could just fall back down, but I think we'll get at least a little micro. No, we're actually getting a downward move. Huzzah! I'll probably cut this trade and start switching to shorts. Boom, boom, boom. Pulling back up to 55. Might need to cut this one. Probably do. Rough day today on trading. Cut that one. Basically, just going back and forth. The here's 9 o'clock. So this is the area I was saying that we may get a fall down. The 5200. I don't think we'll cross over for another like 15 minutes to a half an hour. 9:30 was the estimated time. Do have more red on the TTM. So here's our lunchtime rush beginning. May get some volume increase, hopefully. We do have room down to the 200 simple, which is right there on 40.50. Is short off 53 and a quarter. Try to get out 52.50. We could just pop here again like we've been doing. Again, this is why trading the choppiness is just not my normal edge. Yeah, we do live every day. We do live Monday through Friday at 7:30 Pacific. It's 10:30 Eastern time. This is looking more like another potential rip again. With that hammer candle on that. Even though we're getting more buildup on the TTM too. All the moving averages are in bearish form. We are below the 50 EMA. And we do have the TTM toward facing towards the downside. Basically, everything is in bearish form with the one exception of the 50-200. That one's still in bullish. Gonna cut this. I may just have to lick my wounds on the day and just take the L. It happens. Gratefully, we're still up since last week, about 7,000. So if we do end up taking a loss on the day, which looks like we're headed that way, we're still building the account up, so we're all good. We're still up 7,000 or so since last week. Little by little. Remember that trading is risky, and there is also easy come, easy go. Just remember that there is a fee to pay when it comes to trading, and it's just part of it. Pay the cost of success, and that's just part of the process. From 0.8 to 1.1 on the TCM. We're about 25% to the funding goal on just over 25% to the funding goal on the 100K account. We're looking to hit $102,000. We're at 105. By the way, guys, if you are looking to earn funding in the futures market, make sure you check out Elite Trader Funding. These guys are awesome. We've been streaming now for about an hour and a half. We haven't even mentioned these guys, and these guys are awesome. Personally, I think that they're one of the best prop firms in the industry. If you are looking to get access to up to $300,000, you can go through Elite Trader Funding, and they will hook you up with the capability of being able to trade with 10, 25, 50, 75K, so that you can actually make real profits in the market. Personally, I'm working on earning funding in a 50K evaluation, which allows me 8 contracts on the mini, $3,000 profit target with a $2,000 trailing max drawdown. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, make sure you click the See More Details link so that you can understand fully how these evaluations work and how they can be used in order to get access to a large amount of funds so that you can build up your account and actually take withdrawals, take real money that you can survive off of, and grow your own investments from. If you use the link in the description and the promo code JSBEST, you'll also lock in a lifetime discount. But I mean, you're getting access to $50,000 for $165 or less. So it's pretty ridiculously inexpensive. I am working on the 50K evaluation on the one step, which is a little bit different than what you'll find in most prop firms out there. I'm also working on the 100K static evaluation that has a $2,000 profit target with a 2 contract maximum on the mini. Max drawdown on this one is 625, but it's not a trailing max, and that's very important to notice. You can always click See More Details next to any of the plan styles and see what works for you. There's also the fast tracks that are the least expensive option in order to earn funding in the futures market, but I only recommend these if you have a really solid and proven strategy, because they do have a time limit on these ones on how fast you need to earn it within, which is 14 days. The other thing that I also want to point out, because it's worth thousands of dollars, is that you do get the opportunity to use a lot of different trading softwares with Elite Trader Funding. Most prop firms will only give you access to one software, and I think that becomes kind of challenging because multiple softwares, or actually, I should say, getting access to a software that works with your trading style is incredibly important to your success. So check these guys out. Link in the description. Promo code JSBEST to lock in a lifetime discount, and that'll hook you up with that. Looks like I was doing that without actually showing my screen. This is Elite Trader Funding here. This is the one-step evaluations I was talking about. This is the 50K that I'm currently working on, and this is the 100K that I'm currently working on. And here's the See More Details links that I mentioned on each of them. Link in the description. Promo code JSBEST to get a lifetime discount on that. Discord link, there is one in the body as well. I'll also type it here for you. So there is the Discord link right there. But there's also one in the description as well. Did I mention that I can use TradingView? Yeah, you can use TradingView for the attempts, or is it TradingView or Ninja? You can use TradingView as well. Actually, let me find the page of what softwares you can use. I know you can also use anything in the Rhythmic network. So if I'm just here, I'm gonna share my screen here. If I'm just here on the FAQ, or the help center rather, you can see that there's Rhythmic. So it's anything in the Rhythmic network. It would be like NinjaTrader and a bunch of the other ones that use Rhythmic. There's TradingView. Then there's also Trade-of-8s as well. There's Trade-of-8. We also go into, they break out the different plan styles. There is a page, and I'll see if I can find it for you, that lists all the softwares, but I know that TradingView is available as well. How to connect TradingView to Trade-of-8s, what to do with the TradingView add-on. I don't know which ones they provide license keys for. I know they provide a license key for NinjaTrader and Trade-of-8 as well. But I don't remember all the license key ones. So, but yeah, check these guys out if you'd like to earn funding in the futures market. Personally, I think they're one of the best out there, in my own personal opinion. And I have tried a few. So I've been really happy with these guys. They do have a really active Discord community. They, like I said, they do allow you multiple softwares to choose from. And they, in my own personal opinion, they provide the best customer service. They're not just trying to directly do an FAQ article that doesn't answer my question. They actually do focus on answering my question, provide real responses. And kind of a flattening on the TTM from 1.3 to 1.5. You can see actually the 50 acted as resistance here for a minute on this last push back up. So this could actually, like, we are getting closer to 5,200 cross. So we may actually finally get a drop, like a real drop. I don't mean like a drop off of 60 down to 55 or 54, but I mean like a drop down to, like, you know, below the VWAP. We did at the, you know, from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. have a drop of $86. It's a pretty hefty drop on there. I have a possible crossover though over 1226. We are also getting a red-yellow move. With the chop on the day, it's difficult to really figure out which direction things are going though, just because it's so sideways and choppy. 1.6 to 1.2 to 0.9. This is looking more like we may get a little rush here. I'll take a small long here. Just look for 2 ticks up. Did our music stop? Piano player's out. Music stop. Boy had key and he got a drop. Yeah, wow, this one's good. Made $100 back. I'm gonna switch this to like 6 ticks and then join the bid here. Trying to get an entry here. Got an entry off 56 and a quarter. Jumping to the eval side. And try and get zoomed in here. Joining the bid. Missed that entry. Gonna join the bid here. Trying to enter off 56.50 for an exit at 57. Not filling me again.
Order filled.
In a 56.50 for an exit off 57. Two seconds left in this candle.
Order filled.
Exited there at 57. Made back a little bit more. So on our 100K, we're up at 543. Nice rip on that one. Popped up to 58. Probably should have traded that in my 50K. Because that one looked like a really obvious trade to me. So we did make back 300 on the sim side. Remember, with our fees, it's going to be kind of expensive today. Gonna get a cyan switch as well. Nice pop here. What platform should I use? Tiny Trader? I actually don't know what Tiny Trader is. I'm just checking in with the chat. I have it on a second page, so just kind of working on it. Yeah, Rhythmic has a free 14-day trial. Look into that as well. See how it functions. So Rhythmic is the thing that connects into NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader is its own software, and then Rhythmic manages the accounts. Rhythmic links into a bunch of different softwares, and allows you to trade and really just access to several different prop firms all at once, which is kind of cool. But I think that one of the issues that I really have, my nose, man. One of the issues that I really have with Rhythmic is it actually wasn't that easy to, or wasn't that difficult to figure out, which was nice. But the overall look of it really needs to be updated to be a bit more modern because it's like 8-point font. It looks like I'm in DOS, and it's funny, but I don't want to be in DOS anymore. Like, I'm not in the 90s anymore. I don't really want to be in DOS and command prompts. And I don't want to look at software that looks like that either. I want something to be more bubbly and more modern and easier to look at. Because I think aesthetic matters. And I think if you're not going to put effort into your aesthetic, you don't actually care. And that's been kind of my look at a lot of things, because I've seen a lot of programs that are well engineered, but because they don't put any effort into aesthetics, it makes things more challenging than they need to be. So I think that does make a difference. But Rhythmic seems to function pretty okay. What platform should you use? It's whichever one you like the best. So it's really depends on what you like. And yeah, TD Ameritrade, now Charles Schwab, since Schwab bought Ameritrade, and by March they will be called Schwab. But they use Thinkorswim. And what up, Antonio? Good to see you, my brother. Yeah, Rhythmic actually seems pretty well engineered. But aesthetically it's awful to look at. But it's, how old am I? I am 38. I think. Yeah, I'm 38. So Um, I will share that information just because I already know it's all public. So, but yeah, I'm 8 years old. I grew up in the 90s. Like, I don't know. I had my first computer when I was like 9. So I was pretty privileged in the sense that my school district had access to computers, which was really nice. We had computers. I remember using computers in like 1992, like on a frequent basis. Um, so I was pretty young having access to computers. I thought that was pretty cool. And then my grandfather bought our household a computer, which I basically just used to play games, but it was still something that actually entered me into a trade. But the P&L is looking good on it, so I'm cool with that. I'm having weird errors and issues, man. But we did make back $300 on that, or 250, I think, actually. We're still down 1,900 on the day, so we have a ways to go to like rebuild our account on the day. But 19, my friend. I wish that I was 19. That would be amazing. That's crazy. My kid's almost 19. Uh, Change my life. I want to be a free bird by 22, dude. That is an awesome goal, and I am in full support of that. And I have actually helped a lot of younger people actually create that in the digital space before I ever got into trading full time. But I mean, dude, you could do it by 22. It's possible. You absolutely could. As far as being a free bird, like I'm not gonna put any. I mean, we are infinite creatures, so there is no limit at all. Don't let anyone ever tell you there is a limit. By the way, uh, but uh, but I will say this, that uh, if you want to be free by 22, spend very little. Save as much as you possibly can. If you can, save 90% of what you earn and invest it. Well, I'm not going to give financial advice, but I will say that if it were me and I was 19 again, uh, the opportunities are different than they were back then, because I could have just gone into cell phones and sold cell phones and made six figures at 18, 19 years old. But it's not the same opportunity anymore. Uh, what I would say is that if I could go back and do it again, I would save about 80 to 90% of my income, which is kind of what I did, but I also worked for a couple bucks an hour. I worked 3 jobs when I was 19 years old, and I had one job that was paying me 7.5 bucks an hour, another one that was paying me 10 bucks an hour, another one was paying me like 6.75 an hour. And so I was working 3 jobs at once, and I definitely would not. I would not be working. I would just go straight to entrepreneurship. Uh, of lavishly spending. I had a bad habit of lavishly spending all my allowance. Bro, the fact that you got an allowance, dude, that's awesome, man. Like that. Like I will say this: be incredibly grateful that you lived in a household that provided you with an allowance, because that is actually a rare thing. And it might not be rare where you're at, or with the people that you know around you, but globally that is an incredibly rare thing. And yeah, happy birthday, by the way. Globally, that is an incredibly rare thing. Growing up, my own self, like I started working at like 14 and helped my mom pay bills like mortgage and rent and electricity and stuff. which certainly put a damper on my later point in life. But it also taught me a crazy amount of knowledge that I use today. So, but yeah, that's honestly what I'd say. I'd say like save like 90% of it, and for my own self, I would personally be investing it into an index fund um, to to try to create uh longer term results, especially since we it does very much look like we're going into a heavy recession. And if the Fed continues to print more stimulus checks or do more not the Fed, but Congress, if they continue to approve more and more spending bills, then that means more and more debt for the American economy, and the more debt that they bring on, the less valuable the dollar is going to be worth, and so the more and more that dollar degrades, the more and more that we head towards a society that sort of creates almost an indentured servitude to pay off the government's debts. Because if the government defaults on that debt, then we may enter into a period of austerity, and that's not where anybody wants to be. So, so if the government is entering that whole economy into a place of austerity, then we ourselves need to be hyper vigilant and focusing on where we are going as individuals, and I think that seven figures in the very near future will just be basic middle class. And that's just kind of my thoughts on it. So, um, DG, I would say read every financial book that you can. Psychology of Money. This is probably one of my favorite financial books. Um, that's actually one that I'm rereading right now, and I'm been really like just the insights are just awesome on Psychology of Money. Um, But but yeah, I'm gonna probably go ahead and shut it down for the day. DG, we normally do these for about 2 hours every day. Um, and oh, you've read it, yeah, dude. It's a really that's probably one of my favorite books on money, and it's recently released, so it's has a lot of current information in it, which I think is really cool. Because there's a lot of like older books on money, and what is taught in them as far as strategy is often a lot less valid today. Um, the psychology aspect of things is timeless, and that's really important to understand, because there's a very big difference, a very real difference between something that is timely and something that is timeless. Um, it's one of the reasons I started spending less. That's awesome, man. Dude, that's so dope, dude. I was actually going to post up some content about that in the group today. Um, but that one is one of my favorites. There's a couple others. Um, but but yeah. I am going to jump off here, guys, and then I'm going to jump in the group and I'm going to post our results on the day. Unfortunately, not a great day, but that's all right. You know, we're still up on the last week or so, so I'm still happy about, and we're really up on January. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 market time. Please like, subscribe, ring that bell for noties, and help the community grow. And we'll see you tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 market time. Peace.